topic I will be presenting today is about identifying unmarked graves. What are unmarked graves? Unmarked graves are unidentified burial sites that are not recognised on the ground surface. Purpose being, in as much as they have at no time been marked, or for the reason that the gravestone has either been detached or dismantled. So, how are graves resolved? Unmarked graves are unravelled by utilising a number of geophysical methods as well as cadaver dogs. As shown, I have set forth a total of geophysical methods that are time and again used to resolve unmarked graves, such like ground penetrating radar, magnetic radiometry, high-resolution topographical survey and mapping, drone technique, and photography. How do these techniques work? Well, studied to be the go-to technique, ground penetrating radar is a non-destructive mechanism that is capable to pinpoint any such thing that is below the surface, from individuals to objects. Ground penetrating radar addresses radar waves within the ground and records the reflection of gesture specified. This structures 2D profiles which manifests soil structure and composition. The GPR is foremost to come across bodies beneath the surface that have been wrapped in something, as wrapping renders satisfactory reflective exterior. A magnetic technique being magnetic radiometry is an addition used to figure out unmarked graves. This procedure allocates supplementary documentation in reference to ground targets. High-resolution topographical survey and mapping distributes data for unmarked graves. Oftentimes, this technique is unfunctional, whereas the district is over much forested. As for drone techniques, this method provides fast documentation from Skyview, finding melancholy from graves which are not obvious from ground surface. Cadaver dogs. As previously mentioned, cadaver dogs, furthermore recognized by the name of human remains detector dogs, appear functional when it comes to tracking down anything to do with human remains from hours to decades old. Their brains are customarily devout to their noses, though they are efficient to sniff up to 5 times a second. Each sniff hurtles into a bony structure called the olfactory recess. As I have displayed in the concept beneath, dogs have more olfactory receptors than humans. These dogs come up against an 18-month to 2-year training settlement prior to them being adequate to work in the law enforcement field. The science behind cadaver dogs. The science backing cadaver dogs is that they are instructed to find human remains, some even being that upstanding that they can observe a body buried up to 12 feet underground, virtually 100 feet underwater. Even after they have acquired their training, cadaver dogs have to accomplish recertification. This customarily presupposes returning to a training school and substantiates that the dog can still detect human remains at the level required to achieve their job. In saying that, there are disparate breeds that are trained as human remains detector dogs. For instance, German Shepherds, Retrievers, and Border Colliers. Cadaver dog breeds are not overly important. Reliability and advantages. Wherefore, ground penetrating radar is the leading used geophysical method. In comparison, I'd like to confer about the advantages of this technique. Investigated to be a non-destructive mechanism, the GPR proclaims rapid outcomes at fact which he scrutinizes the burial area in full. Oftentimes it can differentiate magnitude and structure of objects. As for cadaver dogs, you may ponder if they are dependable or not. Turns out they have a 95% of accuracy when it comes to detection. These dogs are also competent to false alerts by indicating something is present when it isn't. Therefore, cadaver dogs, or as you may call them, human remains detector dogs, are not magic, but neither is the ground penetrator itself.